Good morning. We're going to continue where we left off. I don't know where we left off. Right, she was asking for help from the people who were protecting her. That's about all we got. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer. One that wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. First, I'm going to turn it down just a tiny bit. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from coolness. In fact, it only felt more oppressive. There were crooked houses and apartments lining the narrow, twisting road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to rot, as well as bicycles and cars on the sides of the road, making it even more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily. But in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. Hojo Tip. The motorcycle stopped in front of a two-story apartment, one that could hardly be called neat, even as flattery. A man, fairly old and wrinkled, stepped off. When a nearby housewife hanging out the laundry noticed him, she called out, "Well, hello there! It's quite hot again today, isn't it?" "Oh, you've got that right. I feel like I'm going to boil out here." Forgot to turn that off, sorry. Suddenly, I got goosebumps all over my body. I felt like something bad was about to happen, for no reason. Everyone gets this feeling in a different way. Some people get a twitch in their eyelids, or some kind of movement in their ears. In your ears. In my case, I get goosebumps. Goosebumps. Satsuko was supposed to be cooking dinner tonight. We didn't have much inside the refrigerator, so I asked her to go grocery shopping. I was just watching TV and relaxing while I waited for her. She was usually back by the time my cartoon was over, after which she'd start cooking dinner. But my cartoon was over. The news had started, and Satsuko wasn't home yet. Satsuko sometimes waited until they had a sale at the store. In that case, she'd usually come home late. That must be what was happening. It was too early for me to start worrying about her. Throw my glasses. But, I can't explain this feeling. I can't hear without my subtitles. I can't explain it, but I feel extremely worried. Once I started feeling like that, I couldn't just sit in the room and wait for her. Hanyu? Hanyu? Where are you? I thought she might know where Satsuko might be, but she's never around when I need her. Hanyu is not with me 24 hours a day. She sometimes falls asleep, and sometimes she goes out for walks. Though in her case, it's not a walk, but more like a stalk. She follows people around when she finds someone interesting, and she enjoys observing them. Anyway, I had no choice. I'd have to find Satsuko on my own. I had a good idea of which stores Satsuko goes to. I should check those first. We're in Hinamizawa. If I asked people, they'd tell me where she went. Hello there, Rikachama. It's a blessing to see you here. Nipa! Did Satsuko come here today by any chance? I haven't seen Satsuko-chan here. I've been out here all day, so I would have seen her if she was here. I didn't even have time to say thanks. I ran to the next store. People were greeting me and waving at me. I'd usually smile and greet them back. But I had no time for that at the moment. Satsuko, Satsuko, Satsuko. I need Satsuko in my life. I was able to survive so long because of her support. Without her, This world would be so empty and boring. Satoko is nonchalant and optimistic, unlike me. I've learned so many things from her over the past 100 years. But I still need to learn more from her. Satoko! Satoko! People stared at me as I ran by them, screaming out her name. I didn't care what they thought. Satoko! 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 Why are they looking at me like that? I'm looking for Satoko. Somebody tell me where she is. My heart was convulsing inside my body like a fish out of the water. What little stamina I have, I hate my body for being so young. You know, the store on the corner always has a sale in the evening. She might be there. I went to a few different places, but I still couldn't find her anywhere. The people I talked to gave me advice on where to go, but I couldn't find her in any of the places they suggested. I continued to run, looking for her. I continued to run even when I bumped into people. I don't know. I had so many customers I can't remember. There are only a few places in Hinamizawa where we can go grocery shopping. Shouldn't be that difficult to find her, so why couldn't I? Wah! I tripped on something in the street and fell flat on the ground. Ouch. I injured my hand on a small rock and butted it in the ground. I didn't feel much pain, even though I said ouch. By reflex, you always do that. It just felt hot, as if I had touched a frying pan. So that is pain. Suddenly, someone handed me a pretty handkerchief. Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Rena, did you see Satoko anywhere? Rena was carrying a grocery bag. I've heard that Satoko bumps into Rena often when she goes grocery shopping. They tend to choose the same stores. Satoko-chan? No, I didn't see her today. Was she out grocery shopping? Yes. You didn't see her? No, I didn't. But there's no way she would have missed the big sale at the market today. I was there, but I didn't see her. My brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. It took me a while to understand what Rena was talking about. I understood that Rena didn't see Satoko, but that wasn't the point. They had a huge sale in the market today. There's no way that Satoko would miss that sale. Ooh. But she still didn't see her there? What was that supposed to mean? What happened? Did she leave her wallet at home or something? Well, I couldn't find the right words to explain. Should I tell her I feared that something bad had happened to Satoko, and that's why I was looking for her? No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't think too deeply about why she hadn't returned home. What's wrong? Can't I help out? Talk to me. I knew she was just trying to help me. I even thought I needed someone to help me just a few moments before. But now that she was here, I had no idea what I was supposed to say. No, that's not it. The truth is, I know. Somehow, I know. I wouldn't have to know if I was someone else. But I have to know this. Rika Furude has to know what's going on. I know it. I remember it. I knew this was coming. I've experienced a world before where Satoko suddenly disappeared. But the possibility for that happening is as low as Akasaka showing up in Hinamizawa. It only happened randomly in my other lives. This is not the first time. It happened before, too. I should see it for myself. I need to see if I've gotten stuck inside a devastating world again. Will you talk to me? I'm sorry. Goodbye. Hey, Rika-chan. I started running. I couldn't pretend like I didn't know where she was. Please, don't tell me that I was blessed only up to this point, and that I'm about to fall back into my unfortunate fate from here on. I thought that this world was different. I thought I could move on to a happy future. I thought I would be able to defeat my deadly fate in this life. But this was just horrible. It was horrible that this was happening to this world. I was standing in front of the place that I hate the most in Hinamizawa. Yes, it's Satoko's real home, the Hojo residence. I had been living with her since last fall, so this house was empty. In the beginning, she used to come back here to pick up her clothing and other necessities. But when she moved most of her stuff to my house, Satoko stayed away from this place. This was a sad place for Satoko, because all she could remember of it was the horrible time she spent with her uncle and aunt, and the memory of her missing brother, Satoshi. That's why she never wanted to come back here. But that wasn't the reason I hate the house. It's because I know what happens whenever this house becomes an issue in my life. Oh God, please. Please bless me with just one more fortune. I closed my eyes and prayed. Then I slowly opened them. Silence. The window was open on the second floor. Oh, I saw a faded curtain swinging inside. As soon as I saw that, my knees realized what was going on, even before my mind processed it. In the next moment, I lost strength in my legs and collapsed on the ground. I saw an unfamiliar motorcycle parked by the house. I also saw laundry and a futon hanging outside. I was certain that someone was living here. It was proof that someone was living inside this house. It's never good when there's someone living inside this house. This was very, very bad. I knew exactly why. I knew why, but I felt like I wanted to act like I didn't know. Rika? Satsuko! Satsuko went outside to take the futon in and noticed me. Rika. Satsuko looked down and forced herself to smile. I felt so sad. It wasn't just her expression. I could tell that her left cheek was red and swollen. Satsuko, don't stay here. Let's go home. I took her hand, but she still looked down without squeezing back. Rika, I think I'm going to go back to this house. Why is that? My uncle came back, and he told me we should live together in this house. I know that's not what you want. You don't want to live with your mean uncle. But I have no choice. If I go back to your house, he'll come and get me. I don't want to cause any trouble for you. She gave up with a sad smile. She looks exactly how she looked 1 year ago, in 1982. Her uncle only slapped her face, and she's back to being the Satoko from 1982. The cheerful Satoko that I knew until yesterday could no longer be found. I took care of Satoko and tried to heal her wounded heart for over a year. She finally got her smile back. But her uncle took it all away with just one slap to her face. A broken soul can recover over time, but her damaged heart can never be fixed completely. I just took the broken pieces and put them back together. The cracks in her heart will always be there. That's why she wouldn't come with me, no matter how hard I tried to pull her hand. She couldn't get over the fear. She knew just how scary her uncle could be. Satoko, what the hell are you doing? You better not go anywhere. I heard a disgusting voice from inside the house. Satoko stared at the ground. Her shoulders were shaking. Huh? Who the hell's this? He came out and stood right behind her. It's nothing. I just bumped into my friend. I don't care. Go inside and clean the bathtub. I want to take a bath, you idiot. Satoko scampered back inside the house like a terrified small animal. I feel devastated as I watch her go. Were you asking her out to play? I'm sorry, but she's busy taking care of chores. I'm her uncle. I've been out for a while on a business trip. I'm finally back in the village, you know? Liar. He only showed back up because his lover went missing. Shouldn't she know who his lover is? In another world, I once let my hatred out on him. But then he inflicted that anger in equal turn onto Satoko. So I couldn't allow the dark flame burning within my chest to reflect in my eyes. Since I couldn't make myself smile, and I couldn't insult him, all I could do was give him a short bow and run away from the scene. You're intimidated by my scary face, huh? I heard his hideous laugh from behind me. I cried as I ran away. I couldn't stop crying. I thought this was a perfect world up until today. Why was God doing this to me? It was too cruel. But I couldn't give up yet. I couldn't do anything, but I still had hope for this world. I didn't think the luck I had until yesterday was just a random thing. I went back to my house in hurry. I needed to make a phone call. I didn't know the number because it was my first time calling the place. I looked inside the phone book and found it easily. I made a call to that number. I got some kind of message. Oh, hello. Didn't expect to get a call from you, Furude-san. What can I do for you? I already knew that Oishi could never save Satoko based on what I've seen in my previous lives. For him, Satoko is only a good way to get at the Sonozaki family. Her uncle is probably his prey in that regard too. Even if I talked to him about her situation, he would do nothing to save her. The only thing he'd tell me would be to call the child's consultation center. I want to talk with Akasaka. Is he there? Akasaka-san. He went to the hot springs in Wakura with his wife. Wait. Wakura? That's not anywhere near here. I thought he was staying here until Watanagashi. Oh right, Akasaka's here. I heard he's going to stay in a hotel owned by a relative of his. I wish I could go too. What? You want to know where Wakura is? It's in the Ishikawa prefecture, on the Noto Peninsula. No way. He told me that he was staying here until Watanagashi. I thought he meant he was staying in Hinamizawa. But did he actually mean this area of the country in general? Can you get hold of him somehow? That was a meaningless question. There's no way I could get him to come here while he's enjoying his trip with his wife. Even if I can talk to him on the phone, he'll probably only tell me to call the child consultation center or something. I don't know where he's staying. I heard it's a very famous luxury hotel, so I can make a pretty good guess. No. But I'm sure they won't give me the room number, since they're strict about customer privacy these days. Okay then. Did Akasaka tell you that he's coming to the Watanagashi festival? Yes, he did. He's coming back here after the hot springs. They stayed here for only one night, and then left for the Noto Peninsula. I'm sure they'll be back before the day of the festival. He said he'd be back with a souvenir for you. How terrible. I thought it was too good to be true. I knew it was kind of strange for him to stay in a boring place like this. My luck seems to be turning. This might not be a surprise, though. Just like I can roll a 6 3 times in a row, I can roll a 1 3 times in a row, too. In row 2. Happy things and unhappy things can happen with equal probability. Hello? If you want to leave a message, I'll take it for you. I looked at the calendar on the wall. I didn't know when he was coming back, but I was certain he wouldn't be for at least one more week. I thought back to the past to try and remember what happened. That guy will break Satoko apart in 1 week. I couldn't wait that long. I had to give up on seeking help from Akasaka. Well, that's okay. I still had one more option. One more person I could rely on. No, that's alright. Thank you for your help. Nipa. I hung up the phone after thanking him. I couldn't make a phone call to the next person. I'd have to talk to him in person. I put my shoes on and headed to the Irie clinic. The clinic's hours were over for the day. There was usually no one here after that. However, since Tomitake was here, they should still be inside the building for a meeting. They had to be there. The front door of the clinic was locked, as I expected. I went around to the back door and rang the bell. The whole clinic is nervous when Tomitake is around. They usually ignore visitors. But I'm special. What's wrong? I heard you had an emergency. You need me too? That doesn't sound good. Irie and Takano showed up soon after I was taken to the visitor's room. If Rika Furude has an emergency, then it's a priority for these two people. I'm the most important person in this village. Could it be? Someone is trying to get you? You are protected at all times by the elite security of the mountain dogs. They've been watching you since the day we made that promise. I had no doubt about that. They saved me right away when we had that confrontation with those 3 delinquents the other day. That's not it. I have a favor to ask. I want you to save Satoko from danger. What happened to Satoko-chan? Irie doesn't have that much power alone, even if he really wants to save her. But Takano controls the mountain dogs, so she does have that power. In my previous lives, I was never able to get help from the mountain dogs because I wasn't on good terms with Takano. But this world is different. I have a better relationship with her in this life, and she even kept the promise she made. I trust their ability completely now. Teppei Hojo-san is back? That's horrible. It was mainly Satoko's aunt who was abusing her last year, but Irie knows that her uncle was violent with her too. I told them that Satoko had gone back to the same condition she was in the previous year. I don't know what will happen. I need you to help me save Satoko. Irie seemed to want to do something for her, but you didn't know exactly what to do. What shall we do? Shall we call the police and let them know? I don't know about that. At this point, all he did was come back and take her in as her legal guardian, right? It's not like she's been seriously injured by him. That's not the case, right? No, that hasn't happened yet, but it's only a matter of time. Something bad is going to happen if we don't do anything. I hate to say that it's only a matter of time. I knew how she was going to get abused and how she was going to end up. I've seen it in the past. I really wanted to tell them about it. But I couldn't do that. As it hasn't happened in this world yet, they just think I was imagining it. I think you should call the Child Consultation Center first. I remember. Satoko-chan made a false report to the Child Consultation Center once. I wonder if they would take her seriously. The answer is no. My friends contacted the Child Consultation Center several times in the past. But Satoko always refuses their help. She claims that she isn't being abused. The Satoko from 1983 might have asked for their help, but currently she was the Satoko from 1982. For her, living with her uncle reminds her of the time when Satoshi was around. She feels like Satoshi will come back if she can live strongly without always relying on her brother. Even if the Child Consultation Center were to take the case seriously, it's just too late. I tried to remember. In the most recent world I experienced, it only took a few days after Satoko was kidnapped by her uncle. It only took a few days for him to tear her heart apart. We had no time to waste. We needed to take action quickly. We can't really do anything unless she seeks help. I think Dr. Irie can call the police, but that's about it. I'm very sorry. That's not it. I want you to help her, Takano. Irie and Takano looked shocked, and both went quiet. They didn't expect me to seek help from Takano. You mean you want us to take a much bolder action? I'm here to ask for that. I wouldn't be here this late otherwise. I understand. But Irie, if you truly cherish Satoko, then please just listen to me this once. Please save Satoko. In less than a few days, she'll really end up in horrible shape. That's already guaranteed. If you try to wait and see how things go, it'll be no different than watching her die. Have you forgotten how Satoko was last year, Irie? She's already reverted to that state, right this very second. In a few more days, it will be too late to do anything. Silence. All I could do was to stare at him. Believing that Irie could see the future only I knew, the tragic end awaiting Satoko, reflected in my eyes. Irie remained silent for too long a time to call a brief. Someone trying to think of some excuse to avoid the issue wouldn't go silent that long. He was recalling Satoko's terrible state last year, and seriously considering if my plea was as urgent as I made it out to be. I know that he really cares about her. That's why I need his help. What shall we do? Irie nodded and looked up. I guess he finally came to a conclusion. I just hope it's a positive one. Takano-san, please do what Rika-chan wants you to do. Irie, I remember how hopeless I felt when I couldn't do anything to save Satsuko-chan last year. I want to take this chance and save her this time. But, Doctor, Takano didn't think that Irie would make that decision. She seemed shocked to hear his response. I would like to ask you as the director of this clinic. Please help Satsuko-chan. Dr. Irie, what do you mean when you say to help her? Please calm down. Satsuko-chan is very important to us. She has greatly contributed to our research for a long time. Protecting her is considered one of your work orders. Irie continued, though Takano tried to persuade him. Kyosuke Irie is asking you, as your boss, please save Satsuko-chan. I stared into Takano's eyes together with him. I thought you and Satsuko were friends. Please help her, as her friend. Help her, huh? That's a hypocritical way of saying it. You're not telling me to kidnap her and lock her up somewhere safe. You want me to help her so she can have a normal, happy life. In other words, you want her uncle dead, right? You have the right to make the ultimate decision of how you're going to save her. But if you don't want to, I don't mind making that decision. Dr. Irie? No. Section Chief? If we carry out your order, both you and I will be responsible for it. Are you sure you're ready for that? I looked at his face. Unlike me, Irie has many things to lose. I knew that Takano's words would shake him emotionally. However, Irie was determined. Yes, that's fine. Even if I'm called forward to defend my actions, that's better than betraying my own heart. An impressive show from someone who doesn't know what a hearing's like. If you do it quietly, they may not find out about it in Tokyo. Everyone would be happy that way. All risk and no reward. If you want, I'll show you more treasures in the shrine. I'll never restrict you from seeing those things. So please, help me. The risk she's taking is larger than the reward I'm offering. But that's about the only thing I can offer her. I don't care about the traditions of the Furude Shrine, as long as I can save my friend from her suffering. Fine. I don't want to be the bad guy here. She forced a smile and accepted the favor I asked her for. Thank you, Takano-san. I want you to make the decision of how to save her. I will have a meeting with Okunogi later to plan out the mission. Not later. It has to be now. She promised to save Satsuko, but she still wasn't motivated for it. It'd be too late if she didn't do something right now. I tried to make Takano understand that this is an urgent matter. That's right. Rika-chan and I want to see some kind of result right now. I'm sorry for asking you this at this time, but can you please contact them now? You guys are so passionate about her. Okay. It might take a few minutes. Thank you very much. No problem. It's an order from my boss. I'll do whatever I can. Just don't forget that promise you made, Rika-chan. I promise. I'll even serve you some rice cakes and tea when you come to the shrine. Takano smiled slightly and left the room. Once we finally heard her footsteps fade away, the tension in the room dissolved. Irie offered me something to drink, but I refused. He must have thought everything was taken care of, but I couldn't relax until Satoko was physically returned to me. Irie, does she have enough medication with her? Her uncle will keep her locked inside the house, so she won't be able to come back here for a while. Fortunately, I gave her a stock of medicine and needles last week. She should be fine for a while. However, her mental state can't be controlled by the medication. If she gets too stressed, that can really cause some damage. That will happen within a few days. Takano hadn't come back yet. I thought it would be bad news if she came back too early. But I started feeling nervous after she had taken so long. Irie insisted that I go home because it was getting very late. I couldn't go home and relax, however, until I heard from her that everything was taken care of. I had to wait for her to come back. I needed to deal with this tension until then. I'm just going to close the window real quick. Alright, that's all set. Over an hour later. Ooh, dang. Takano finally returned. I'm sorry it took so long. How did it go? Silence. She was looking for the right words. I got a very bad feeling from her reaction alone. Unfortunately, it won't go as easy as we hoped anymore. Why is that? There was a murder case in Okonomiya not too long ago. The police suspect Teppei Hojo of involvement in the crime, and they have him marked. A murder case? Oh, right, that one. What do you mean? Some woman named Mamiya laid her hands on the Sonozaki family's earnings, and was murdered to set an example. Apparently, the police have taken an interest in the relationship between the Hojos and the Sonozakis. Turns out that woman was Teppei Hojo's lover. Watanagashi's getting closer, too. The police want to prevent the fifth curse of Oyashiro-sama this year, so they've marked Teppei Hojo as the candidate for this year's victim, and started casting their lines. Ah, there's a party outside soon. What do you mean by lines? They suspect they can reel in the true culprit between Oyashiro-sama's curse if they keep their eyes on Teppei Hojo. So, you mean... Rika-chan, I'm very sorry. But the mountain dogs can't do anything to him until the police stop spying on him. No. I thought the mountain dogs could perform any mission, no matter how difficult. That's only when we plan it out carefully with extensive preparation. Usually, we take a long time to observe the target, and we look for the right opportunity. It can take between 6 months and 1 year for a mission like this. Remember, we are a secret organization. We must remain out of the spotlight. If our secret is revealed, everything is over. It's too risky for us to target someone like him. Then when is the right opportunity coming? It will be after Watsunagashi at the earliest. After the festival, the police will stop watching him. But that would be too late. She's saying it'd be after Watsunagashi. I didn't even know if that was a day after or a year after. She also said it usually takes at least 6 months to prepare this kind of mission. That's too long. I thought this world was different, but that hope was slipping through my fingers. So, how can we save Satoko-chan? I think it's best to follow the rules. We should report this to the police or the Child Consultation Center. We can even talk to the school. I did that so many times, but it never worked. Eri and Takano were surprised. They had never expected me to raise my voice. In fact, I didn't think myself that I would react this way. But I couldn't keep my emotions in check after Takano suggested all those meaningless solutions. I've cooperated with you guys all this time. I never asked for anything, I just gave you my support. But now you can't save Satoko? With all that power you have, why are you so afraid of saving her? The police and public services are useless. You guys only take advantage of us and never actually help. Fine, I get it now. I know now that this world is nothing but a dead end. I'm not interested in you guys anymore. I don't care about this world anymore. That's right. I can never escape my fate. It's the same old fate that I keep on repeating. You just burn to death in the mountains. You just take sleeping pills and commit suicide. I'll die just like I always do too. I'll lose my life without knowing how I'm killed. This life is nothing but a dead end. I was born to be killed in this world. Die, everyone, die! There's no meaning to this world anymore. I can't put words to my emotions anymore, and I started to cry. I was so lucky up until yesterday. I had so much hope in my heart, but it had all been for nothing. It felt like everything was falling apart. I've lived for more than 100 years. I've lived longer than a normal human lifetime. I thought I was blessed with good luck, good fortune for the first time in my life. This would never happen to me again. I thought a miracle had occurred, but everything was shattered. I cried and cursed this world. I needed to give up on my life as soon as possible. Satoko would be waiting for me with a smile in my next one. I wanted to go see her. But what would happen to the Satoko in this world? What would happen if I abandoned her? I didn't know, and I didn't care. Satoko, 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 Satoko. I'm a witch who has lived for 100 years, but I still couldn't rid myself of the human emotions in my heart. I didn't get anything to eat because Satoko was supposed to be making dinner tonight, but I didn't have an appetite anyway, so I figured I should just go to bed. I still had to make lunch for the next day, though. Satoko might come to school tomorrow. I rinsed the rice, hoping that I wouldn't have to waste the lunch that I was making for the two of us. I had to stop thinking like that. I already knew it was a waste to make her lunch. I already knew that Satoko wasn't coming to school ever again. I felt so miserable while rinsing the rice that tears started dropping into it as I thought about her. Why was this happening in this world? I thought everything changed when Keiichi gave that doll to Mion. In that world, Mion pretended to be her sister for a week and got closer to Keiichi. But that wasn't happening this time. I thought we would be having a good time until the festival. Huh? That's odd. Wasn't that club activity 2 weeks before Watanagashi? I had realized something. The club activity was exactly the same, but it happened 1 week earlier in the world I knew of. It was 1 week earlier than in my previous life. I get it now. I thought I was familiar with this world, but it was actually a different one where events are mixed up. That means that even though Keiichi gave the doll to Mion, that didn't solve everything. I thought I was getting lucky. I was confident that everything was going to be okay. I stopped making an effort. I knew that there was a possibility that Satoko's uncle was coming back, but I let her go do the grocery shopping. I would have been more careful and kept her home if I knew that he was coming back to get her. I should be careful in my next life. But there wouldn't be a next life that was so fortunate. I didn't get lucky that often. Even if I locked Satoko inside the closet, it would be over if Rena's father messed up something, or if Keiichi lost his mind. I have to clear up everything that's not within my reach, and I also have to make the best effort I can. Without that, I can't overcome the fate of 1983. In this life, I may be able to overcome my deadly fate with Takano's help, but Satoko will not be there in my future. That defeats the whole purpose. My goal is to survive this year while laughing with my best friends. I don't want to sacrifice Satoko in order to survive. I don't want to live in a world without her. I was blessed with all those fortunes, but I still couldn't defeat my destiny. I ruined everything because I stopped working so hard. I will never again have a lucky life like this. I lost my first and only chance. I cried and scratched at the floor. I didn't know if I should curse my fate or curse myself for not putting forth enough effort. Before I realized it, Hanyu was standing in front of me. I didn't know how long she had been there. She just stared down at me with a look of pity on her face. Hanyu, I know what you're trying to say. You want to tell me that you told me not to get my hopes up. There's no way I wouldn't get my hopes up. With it being the first time I was blessed with so many fortunate circumstances, I believed that everything would go well. But you were always telling me not to expect too much. She probably felt something strange at the toy store that day. She realized that the date was 1 week off, and this was not the same old world that I knew. She had realized early on that I still shouldn't be too excited about this life. I've been with you for a long time, so let me tell you this first before you ask me. I couldn't predict what fate held for us today either. The only advice I can give you is this. Fate in this world is as fickle as the weather, nothing more than a trifle unworthy of joy or sorrow. There are 6 sides on a die. That's the reality of it, and it doesn't mean that the 6 is the best number either. I should just take any number that I roll. I shouldn't be disappointed if I roll a 1 a few times in a row. It's pathetic how I thought rolling a 6 was the best result you could obtain. I still have many things to learn, even though I've been living for more than 100 years. I told you several times, but this world is not a miracle. If you wait patiently, you will come across a real miracle someday. How many decades am I supposed to wait patiently? How many centuries do I have to wait? We don't have much power left anymore. I don't think we can go back to a time before June of 1983. The amount of time we can rewind keeps decreasing. You're telling me to just repeat that short amount of time for years? I almost lost my mind when I was repeating a few years over and over again. But you're telling me to repeat 1 or 2 weeks for years until the miracle happens? That's impossible. I was betting on this world. I bet all of my coins on this one world. And I lost, before even trying. I lost all of my coins to this fate. I have no more coins left in my heart. These coins are known as hope. I have no coins left to hope for my dreams to come true. Oh, Rika. I lay on the floor as if I collapsed. The floor should have been cold, but I didn't feel anything. I lost all of my hope. I always thought people could survive as long as they had some bread and water. But that's not right. People can't live without hope. People can survive because they believe that something good will happen to them eventually, as long as they keep on living. But that's just for normal people who don't know what awaits them in their future. There is no such hope for a witch like me. I don't care about anything anymore. I don't care about this life. I don't care about the next. I just want to disappear and turn to ash. Oh, Rika, please don't say that. Rika. Hanyu's voice gradually fades away. I slowly lost my senses as I lay down on the kitchen floor and let myself sink into the darkness. It's a good time to have a sip of water. I dragged my body to school, hoping that Satsuko might be there. But just as I expected, there was no one sitting in her seat. I felt all the more devastated just seeing it empty. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. Blood flowed from my broken heart and found its way through my eyes in the form of tears. Is something wrong, Furude-san? Is Hojo-san absent today? The whole class was wondering why I came in late today, and why Satsuko wasn't with me. But even if I felt sympathy from everyone's eyes on me, I didn't feel any promise from them. No one here was able to save Satsuko. No one could save her. Why should I have to keep smiling at all these useless people? This world is finished anyway. If I leave matters alone, then a few days after the Watanagashi festival, my movie reel will be cut as I'm murdered like usual, and I'll return to the beginning of this month again. And so I'll continue to live forever in June 1983, trapped here. Even death won't set me free from that prison. Furude-san, please talk to me if something happened. Where's Hojo-san? Is she sick? Shut up. The whole class gasped. No one expected Riku Furude to talk like that. I myself made such blunt statements a few times in several past worlds, but it was always the first time anyone in that world heard anything like that. That must have been very easy for them, and I envied it. Furude-san. Chie was standing there dumbfounded. I stood up from my seat. If Satoko wasn't around, I didn't want to be locked up inside of this humid place. I'm going home. I'm not coming here anymore. Goodbye. I felt like saying something like that. However, I retained the small hope that Satoko might go to school the next day, so I kept it to myself. However, Chie wouldn't let me go. She grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to the teacher's office instead. Chie told me to take a seat on a couch by the principal's office. She had no right to tell me what to do. I could just escape through the open window. As I didn't have that kind of energy, however, I sat on the couch as she told me to. I realized then that I didn't even have the energy to be rebellious. Maybe Satoko felt the same. She lost the energy to rebel, and so she was simply obeying her uncle. Furude-san, please tell me what's going on. I'm sure I can help you. Chie spoke to me, but I already knew that her words were empty. All she would do was call the child consultation center. She wouldn't go to the Hojo residence and pull Satoko out of there. So there was no point in even discussing the topic with her. If I told her, she wouldn't keep it to herself. And shortly, everyone would know about what was happening with Satoko. That would only result in chaos. If they call the child consultation center, the staff from there will go and visit Satoko. Her uncle will deny the abuse, and Satoko will also deny it because of the guilt she feels over Satoshi leaving. Shortly after, they'll find out about the false report Satoko made before, and they'll decide to not proceed any further. Her uncle will allow Satoko to go to school for a few days, but his abuse will get worse because he'll think she's the one who called the child consultation center. He'll do horrible things to her, just like her aunt did last year. Calling the child consultation center will not help Satoko. It will instead put her in an even worse situation. It's better not to notify them at all. But if we don't report it, then how else is this world supposed to improve? No, nothing is going to change. There's nothing that can be done once this unfortunate fate overtakes Satoko. You say Hojo-san's uncle is back. Is that true? I had somehow answered all of Chie's questions without answering. I knew that nothing would change, whether I spoke to her or not. So I just told her everything. Because I had no energy to rebel. I understand what's going on now. This is horrible. So, now that you know what's going on, what can you do? Chie answered right away without faltering, already used to my spiteful tone. I will visit her house today. I need to see Satoko-chan and talk to her first. Then, if there's a problem, you're going to call the child consultation center, right? They have it on record showing that she made false reports in the past. They'll never do anything unless there's proof of abuse. They're just like the police, who don't start investigations until after someone's dead. They won't do anything unless Satoko is killed. When that happens, this is what both the school and the child consultation center will say. We never saw this coming. She was such a bright girl. You people are idiots. Just gonna remove the cat real quick. I believe that the people from the center will do something about it. I will make sure to tell them that she needs help. You've done the same in previous lives, too. I wasn't denying her passion, but I couldn't say that there was meaning to it. The problem wasn't with Chie. The problem was with them. No matter how hard Chie tried to seek help from child services, it meant nothing as long as they held biased notions about Satoko. It doesn't matter if they find proof of abuse or not. I suddenly heard a voice from the hallway. It was Shion's voice. Chie shouted, "Who's there?" I heard Mion gasping, "Crap." They must have been listening to our conversation. They were having a quiet discussion outside the door, but Shion accidentally raised her voice. She gets so violent sometimes. 4 people entered into the room from the hallway. Mion, Shion, Keiichi, and Rena. I told you to stay in class. Go back to the classroom. We can't. Not in this situation. What are you going to do if something happens to Satoko? Do you want to be responsible for that? There's no time to waste. We have to do something right now. My sis is saying that things will get worse unless there's some kind of proof of abuse, but it'll be too late once there is. Do you want to see Satoko dead, Mion? That's not what I'm trying to say. Like I told you, Satoko once made a false report to an abuse hotline, and they have that record at the Child Consultation Center. Without proof, they won't investigate her case any further. Just think about what that means. It'll only make her uncle more furious. Satoko's situation will get even worse. What the hell? They're supposed to help her before something happens, right? Are you really not going to do anything unless she's seriously injured? Calm down, you two. I feel the same as Shichan and Keiichi-kun. I don't want to wait until something bad happens. But we need to think about what we can do. What can we do? Talk to the Child Consultation Center, right? If we had the guarantee they'd help her, it'd all be fine. But Mion, you're saying it's highly likely they'll put her case on hold, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what I think they'll do, just like last year. On top of that, she was in an even worse situation then. They put her case on hold even though Satoko was already in horrible shape. But this time, it's only been a day since her uncle took her away. Plus, her uncle has legal custody of her. I feel like that bit is always like weird. We don't need to be so roundabout. All we have to do is ambush that bastard and kill him. Shichan, you can't do that. Sachi-kun wouldn't want that. Then how should we save Satoko? Sachi-kun entrusted me. He trusted me to look after Satoko. If anything happens to Satoko, I can never face him again. Having her hands tied until after Satoko's been thoroughly abused isn't an option. When a crime is taking place right before your eyes, is reporting it the first thing you do? No, you report another crime. You do another crime. You murder them. You stop it. We have to stop this ourselves. Calm down, Shion. You're the head of the Sonozaki family, aren't you? Use your power to save Satoko. You can do it, can't you? You have enough power to save her. I know. The hag's policy is to stay completely out of Hojo affairs because of her grudge over the dam conflict, right? No matter what happens to Satoko, the Sonozaki main branch intends to ignore it, don't they? If neither the Child Consultation Center nor the Sonozaki family can save her, I have to do it on my own. I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill that pig. I'm going to do it right now. It's not going to take more than 1,500 seconds for me to get to her house and stab him to death. What can you do in 1,500 seconds? You can't do anything, can you? I'm going to do it. I'm going to help her. What is that, 30 minutes or less? 25. Let me go. I'm going to kill him right now. Wah! Shion-san, settle down. Stop saying that, or you're going to get into big trouble. They were desperately discussing how to save her. I just sat on the couch and stared at them vaguely. I had seen this same discussion many times, in many different situations. I was tired of listening to it. The only difference was that everything was happening a few days earlier than usual. Rika, it's okay. I'm not going to expect anything good anymore. I don't have any hope left in my heart. Hanyu made a sad expression. I couldn't tell if she was sad about our fate, or if she was taking pity on me. Just as she promised, Chie went to Satoko's house after school. It had only been a day since Satoko's uncle took her away. She wouldn't be able to tell if he had hurt her already or not. If the students hadn't made such a big fuss about it, Chie would have waited a couple of days before going to her house. She already knew, however, about what happened to Satoko the previous year. She also knew that her uncle was abusing her just like her aunt, and that he had neglected to act as her guardian for the whole year. See, that's the bit. Considering those factors, it might not have been too soon for her to visit the Hojo residence. Satoko hadn't shown up in school that day. No one called the school to explain her absence. That alone that was proof that her uncle wasn't taking responsibility as her guardian. Chie was going to her house to see what was going on with her own eyes. She parked the car in the street and checked the map she brought from the school. It said Hojo residence on the sign in front of the house. Chie was certain that this had to be the place. The window on the second floor was open, and she could see a curtain hanging there. From that window, she could hear the laughing voices of several old men. No one had answered the phone when she called right before leaving the school. She could also hear the clicking noise of mahjong tiles along with the voices. She had never played mahjong before, but had a pretty good idea that it was from the way the men were talking. That was it. From the way they were talking. If they were playing mahjong, there must have been 3 other men inside the house. Her students had told her that Satoko's uncle was a very violent man. Chie was the teacher, true, but she was also just a young lady. She felt hesitant to ring the doorbell after hearing their disgusting laughter. But courage drove her forward. She made her decision and rang the doorbell. She heard the bell ring inside the house. but the laughing voices continued to echo from the second floor. It seemed as though they didn't hear the bell. She rang the bell again, and this time the laughter stopped for a moment. Someone must have heard the sound. But soon after, they started laughing again. It didn't sound like anyone was coming to get the door. She thought someone heard the bell, but perhaps not. Chie was sure they were home, of course. She couldn't leave just because no one was answering the door. She knocked and yelled loudly this time. "Hello? Are you home, Hojo-san?" Finally, the laughter stopped, and a man with a scary look on his face opened the door. "Who the fuck are you?" "Shut up and get the hell out of here." Chie felt intimidated by him, but her heart was filled with the teacher's pride and responsibility. "Hello, are you Hojo-san?" "I'm..." Before she could introduce herself, Teppei screamed at her. "Just shut up! I don't need no newspaper, no milk, no insurance. I'm busy right now. I'm working." The people in the room laughed when he told her he was working. Chie wouldn't give up. She continued to speak. "I'm the teacher at Hinamizawa Branch School. My name is Chie. Is Satsuko Hojo here?" "Huh? What the hell? What do you want with Satsuko?" "I came here because she didn't come to school today. I wasn't able to get a hold of her, so I'm wondering what happened." "Huh? School?" "Yes, is she home? I need to talk with her." "She's sick. That's right. She has a cold. Satsuko is resting because she has a fever. I need to give her some handouts. May I please see her?" Fucking idiot. Weren't you listening to what I just said? Satsuko is sick. She's sleeping right now. I can't let you see her. I see. Do you think she can come to school tomorrow? Who knows? I won't know until then. Idiot. I see. Alright, I'm going to turn off auto. Please tell her that I came by. Thank you. Chie bowed. By the time she lifted up her head, Teppei was no longer there. When Chie returned to the school, several students emerged from the classroom. They were Keiichi, Rena, Mion, and Shion. Rika was also still inside the classroom, but she wouldn't come outside. Chie-sensei, how did it go? You went to Satsuko's house, right? You were all waiting for me? Chie-sensei, how was Satsuko doing? Was she okay? Well, I didn't get to see her. What the hell were you doing? You're a teacher, right? You came back just because he didn't let you see her? Stop it, Shion. That's about what we expected. I'm sure Satsuko has a bruise on her face by now. That's why he didn't want you to see her. You should have just ran into the house. I can't even trust you anymore. I'm sorry. Stop it, Chi-chan. She did the best she could. Now we know for sure. Satsuko's uncle definitely has her locked inside the house. We knew that from the start. Rika-chan has been telling you all day today. We wasted half a day just to find out if that's true. How the hell do you think you can help Satsuko? Calm down. Let's make a plan. We care about her just as much as you do. We're not going to abandon her. Let's come up with a way to save Satsuko. I already gave you my opinion, didn't I? It's the best solution we have. I can handle it all by myself. I only need your help to hide his body. Stop it, Shi-chan. Stop saying such violent things. Murder is a serious crime. It's the worst thing you can even think about. Then give me a different idea. If my idea is wrong, then give me a different one, even if it's only a little bit better. Come on. Come on. See, you can't even say anything. I can save Satoko in 1500 seconds. I'll just drag his body to the Umifuji swamp and dump him in there. I don't even need your help, sis. What's wrong? Why don't you come up with another idea for saving her? That's not the point. If you try to figure it out by yourself, that's all you think of. Let me tell you something. 1500 seconds? That's taking way too long. I would save her within 1000 seconds. If I were you, I'd just leave here silently and do what I want to do. Do you know why I'm not doing that? It's because someone told me once that even if it's the only option you have, murder is still something that you should never do. It's not the right thing to do, and it's never the best thing to do either. You just think it's the best solution because you're not thinking properly. A long time ago, I don't know who told me this, but someone taught it to me. If there's something that troubles you, you can't think about it all on your own. You can't think that your solution is the best way to conclude things. We should all think about it together. If we all brainstorm, I'm sure we'll come up with a better solution. It's not about whether my idea is wrong or right. Just think about it. Every minute we waste puts Satoko in more danger. Do you hate the Hojo family that much? No one is supposed to help Satoshi-kun and Satoko, no matter how much they're struggling. I'm going to help her. Get out of my way. I'm leaving right now. I'm going to stab that loser and save Satoko. No, Shi-chan. Shi-chan! You guys should curse yourselves. Curse your powerlessness. Fine, brainstorm for another idea. You'll never come up with one. Just go ahead and neglect her. You've never really cared about Satoko. You only think of her as someone you can play with. But I'm different. She's more than just a friend for me. She's like my family. I care about her more than you guys do. I'm going to go kill him now. Goodbye. Wait a minute. What is it? Are you trying to stop me? Shion, you're not understanding even half of what Ren is trying to tell you. What? I totally understand what she's saying. We can save her right away with just the little courage needed to murder him, but she's spouting hypocritical garbage to hide that fact. Shion, do you think Satoko would appreciate it if you saved her by committing murder? I'm not trying to seek her appreciation. I don't care what happens to me. Her happiness is all that matters. That's not right. You're talking tough, but I know you're scared. In fact, you asked me to help you hide the body. In other words, you want to have a normal life after killing her uncle. You want us all to be happy, just like a few days ago. You want us to be back where we were. But if you murder him, we'll never be like that again. Do you think you can really commit a perfect crime? You'll be arrested for sure. I'm prepared to face that. If I could end Satoko's suffering by doing time behind bars, I'll gladly pay that price. No, that's absolutely not true. You would curse yourself, and I'd bet on that. You would curse yourself and regret it, wondering how you drew the short straw and became a murderer. Then you'd finally realize what you really wanted. It wasn't killing her uncle. It was returning us all to our happy lives. Your wish will never come true if you commit murder. Satoko will also curse herself. She'll blame herself, thinking she's the reason Shion became a murderer. In fact, who's going to force Satoko to eat her squash if you get locked up? Who's going to talk about setting up mean traps with Satoko? You're supposed to do those things. Shion Sonozaki, you have to be by her side at all times. Don't kid yourself. What you're trying to do is not for Satoko. It's just a huge mistake. If that's what you're saying, do you have any idea how to save her? You don't, do you? You're such a hypocrite. I said move. I'm killing him. I'm going to kill him now. Keiichi blocked her way by standing in front of the door. Shion gave him a hateful glare, but he just sent her back a confident smile. I can't let you go, Shion. The world we all long for doesn't exist without you. I'm not going to let you go. Is that so? That means you're siding with Teppei Hojo. You're just as guilty as he is. I'm going to bust your head open and kill you first. Hey, don't be stupid, Shion. Quit it already. Shion-san, what are you going to do with that chair? Stop it. Put that chair down. He doesn't understand that I'm serious. I have to show him how determined I am. You better get the hell out of my way now. Shion, I admit that right now I have no better idea. But that's just for the moment. I'm sure that we will come up with a better idea eventually. I guarantee it. I promise you that we're going to save Satoko. So please, okay? Trust your friends. If you're afraid of committing murder for Satoko's sake, you're not my friend anymore. I'm not going to tell you this again. Get the hell out of my way. Calm down and think about what you're saying. We will save Satoko somehow. Just trust us. Don't try and look for a shortcut. Trust your friends. Trust me. I, Keiichi Maibara, am going to save Satoko for sure. You can bet on it. Shut up. I can't trust you. What do you think you can do for her? Shion. Shion threw the chair at Keiichi. It hit him hard, and the chair fell to the floor with a loud noise. But Keiichi was unfazed even after being struck. He just stood in front of the exit without even covering his face. Wait, he wasn't unfazed. A trail of blood was pouring from his forehead where the corner of the chair hurt him. That was nothing. You thought I would move out of the way? I'm not going to move from here even if you kill me. If I let you go, we might never see you again. Satoko will think about you every day, and her heart will be filled with sadness. If that happens, there won't be anything we can do to make her happy. It's going to be a very sad life for her. I don't want Satoko to live in a sad world like that. The future that we want is a wild and riotous one, just like what we had until a few days ago. Of course, I won't let Satoko's uncle threaten her any longer. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. But I will know soon. I promise. So please, just trust me. Shion wasn't yet convinced. But even so, she walked to the window and took her seat. Somebody rested a hand on Keiichi's shoulder. It was the principal. He had been standing there and listening to him for a while. Principal. Well done. Chie-sensei, I've heard what's going on. I'm sorry for being so powerless. I know it's only been a day, but I think this is an emergency. We should report this to the proper authorities. But sir, she's called the Child Consultation Center before. They're not going to help her anyway. It's just a waste of time. Shion raised her voice. The principal looked at Shion and started talking. Shion Sonozaki-kun, there's one word that I really don't like. Do you know what that is? It's what you just said. The anyway. That came out of your mouth. That is the cruelest word, which means admitting defeat before you even fight. By the time you've uttered that word, you've already lost your battle. I agree with him. I think we should try various options. Calling the Child Consultation Center should be the first on the list. If that doesn't work, we can try our second and third options. Don't give up before you try. That's just as bad as not helping her at all. Principal, if you're reporting this, then you'll make sure to convince them that Satoko needs saving, right? Of course. Hojo-kun is my precious student. I'll do my best so that they will save her. They'll try to take action as quickly as possible, so if we call now, they should get to her house later tonight. I hope they will help her. But what if they put her case on hold? If that happens, we should come up with our next plan. As long as we don't give up, we can help her somehow. Whatever you guys say, Satoko is getting hurt as we speak. Who's the one abandoning her here? Shion, I just promised you. We are going to save Satoko. Not by committing murder, but by saving her in a way that will make her happy. You just watch us. I, Keiichi Maibara, am promising you this. Shion stared out the window without looking at Keiichi's face. I'll try and find out what the consultation center decides tonight. I'll call everyone when I do. I hope they'll take her into custody. We can't be optimistic about this. I think there's a huge chance that they'll put her case on hold. What are we going to do if that happens? If that happens... well... damn it. Chie-sensei, let's go to the teacher's office. We need to make this call. Yes, we need to make sure they really understand. They left the classroom. Keiichi, Rena, and Mion got together and discussed their other options. Shion was looking down and crying. Rika was... just vaguely looking at them as if staring at a boring TV drama. Nothing will change. The Child Consultation Center will put your case on hold. I've seen it so many times in previous lives. I almost hope that they will take her into custody just this once, but I have no more coins left to gamble on a hope like that. In a previous life, Keiichi killed Satoko's uncle, but Shion was not there when that happened. When she is, I suppose she's the one who takes on that role. Their pathetic hopes will be crushed by tomorrow morning. The social worker will be at her house tonight, but Satoko will deny that she's being abused. Her uncle will assume that she was the one who called the service, and he'll abuse her even more. She will come to school tomorrow because he doesn't want the Child Consultation Center to be suspicious of him. We will feel more and more hopeless when we see the dead look in Satoko's eyes. I've been living for more than 100 years, but I've never defeated this fate. The fate of her uncle's return. I was blessed with so much luck, and I thought I could defeat it this time. But in the end, it all came down to the same thing. It was a waste of energy to put in any effort. It was worthless. All worthless. The more I thought about this inescapable fate, the more I pitied these people for talking endlessly about how they were going to save Satoko. End of chapter, I suppose? I think so. A wet blanket. Few new tips. Teppei returned to Hinamizawa to escape some trouble. He'd have to stay there for the rest of the summer, perhaps the whole year, and see what happened. For him, the house in Hinamizawa was like a rather dull hiding place. His lover Rina had suddenly disappeared. Rumors told him that she was involved with some dangerous deal. Some source even told him that she had already been caught and killed. Everyone he knew was aware that Rina was living with him. Everyone also assumed that he knew everything about what Rina did. They were convinced that he got money by tricking her into doing something, and as a result, some dangerous men came after him. That made it difficult for him to stay in Okonomiya. More than anything, it pissed him off to find out that Rina was cooking up something behind his back with some other guys. Hinamizawa was about the only place he could go. He couldn't go back to the house where he used to live with his wife, as it had been abandoned since he moved into Satoko's house. Besides, he didn't even have the key to his old place. But if he went to Satoko's house, she should still be there, and she could clean and cook for him too. Teppei didn't know how to cook or clean, and he certainly wasn't thinking of learning. Rina had often been rebellious towards Teppei. He often said that he wanted to be with someone more loyal, like a pet. For Teppei, Satoko was exactly what he wanted. As Satoko is still a little kid, she can't satisfy him sexually, but he can at least make her wash his back in the bath. Satoko's dead mother used to be a pretty woman. Satoko might grow up to become a pretty lady herself in about 4 or 5 years. Teppei headed back to Hinamizawa with those indecent thoughts in his head. Jeez. The house was locked, so he assumed that she was at the market for grocery shopping. He found her at the store and dragged her back home. However, the house was full of dust. She had been living at her friend's house for the past year, and the house had been abandoned. Teppei exploded in anger. He told her that it was her responsibility to keep the house in order. He beat her and kicked her down to the floor. Eventually, Satoko's expression returned to what he remembered from 1982. Satoko started obeying him immediately and cleaned up the house. A new place to hide with a new girl. His new life was starting out pretty good. Teppei called his buddies to show off his new beginning and ended up playing mahjong with them. He bragged about his new pet and made her serve them food and drinks. He told her to walk on all fours like a real pet. She refused, but she obeyed immediately when he tried to hit her. Everyone was laughing. They were all jealous of him. Jeez, Teppei felt really good about himself. However, someone arrived to interrupt his perfect life. I'm a teacher, blah, blah, blah. He thought someone was at his door to sell insurance or something, but it was a school teacher. This was going to cause him problems, Teppei realized. Satoko was just a pet for him, and he had no intention of sending her to school. But her teacher had showed up at his house just because she missed one day. This wasn't good. Teppei hates schools, and he really hates teachers. He was able to get rid of the teacher, but it would create more problems if he didn't send Satoko to school tomorrow. Teppei didn't need even more trouble on his place. That meant he couldn't beat up Satoko like he wanted to. Violence was the only way he knew how to communicate. With that out of the picture, it was very difficult for him. He wanted to beat up Satoko, but that would leave evidence on her body. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to send her to school. And if she didn't go to school, that teacher would show up at his doorstep again. Shit. On top of all that, the Child Consultation Center paid a visit to his house that night. The teacher must have filed a report. That bitch, Teppei thought. Next time I'll beat her in the face so hard she'll need plastic surgery. Since Satoko was afraid of him, she pretended she was really sick when the social worker visited. It was so easy for Teppei to control her. He considered Satoko to be a convenient pet, but at the same time, he'd need to be careful of the consultation center. Ah, fucking hell. This ain't gonna work at all. I don't even know what chapter I'm on now. Okay, can you chapter jump at this point or no? I don't think so. Well, that was quick, darkness. Damn it. Why did she do that? Do a quick save and then I'll quick load after that. I just want to check. What on? Chapter we're on. Doesn't look like it. Because if you do start, that's literally the start of the game, right? Yeah, you can't do that. So we exit. And we need to reload. Load, load, load. Continue. And quick save. Oh, you even have a date. Damn it, why'd you do that? That's about what I expected. Mion called me in the middle of the night. The social worker went to Satoko's house tonight after getting a call from the school. They had to talk with Satoko and her uncle. He told them that Satoko didn't go to school today because of a cold. He also claimed he didn't call the school because he didn't have the number. He explained that he spoke with Chie-sensei politely, and that she just misunderstood his behavior. Satoko didn't really talk, but she never denied what her uncle was saying. So she said there's no abuse, and that she doesn't need any help? Yes. Satoko has always thought that her brother disappeared because she kept relying on him. That's why. She thinks she needs to handle it on her own without seeking anyone's help? That's ridiculous. According to the social worker, she didn't have any obvious injuries, so they think this isn't an urgent case. It seems that she's being fed, and she has a place to sleep, too. Shouldn't that be a given? Are you saying it's not abuse as long as she has something to eat and somewhere to sleep? That's how they view it, at least. In some cases, people refuse to even let the social worker come inside the house, just because they were able to talk with her uncle tonight. They determined that it wasn't urgent. So after all that, they put her case on hold. I bet Shion is disappointed. Yeah, just like how Satoko refuses to seek anyone's help because of Satoshi, Shion is also desperately trying to save Satoko because of him. She seems calm now, though, even though she's very upset. I know this isn't the time for complaining, but where the hell did Sachi go? His sister is in danger. I have no idea where he is. I know. I'm sorry. I was hoping that he would save her if he came back. But it's a waste of time to think about that. I can't hope for someone else to save her. We're the ones who will. That's right. We have to do what we can. I'm impressed with the power of the Sonozaki family, though. You have information from the social worker already. You must have a spy in the center. That's a national secret. So you know someone who knows a lot about the center? Did they give you any idea of what we should do next? Well, I was advised to just stay calm and see what happens. What the hell? Did you talk to them about the situation she's in right now? Her uncle is locking her up and he's abusing her. Why should we just kick back and see what happens? Well, Kei-chan, this is not my opinion, okay? I'm just telling you what I was told by my contact. See, it is true that Satoko didn't show up at school today. But it's just one day. It's not like she's been absent for weeks or months. We can't really deny the possibility that she has a cold. But she's being abused. You're saying that we should stay calm while she is being physically and emotionally harmed? Wait a minute, Kei-chan. That's the whole point. We're concerned because we know what happened to her last year. But she wasn't hurt yesterday or today. We can't really prove if she's being abused or not. She may not have a bruise on her body yet, but it's only a matter of time. Besides, isn't it abuse to force her to come back and live with him? Remember what we were talking about at school? It's normal for a legal guardian to take in the child under their custody. We can't definitely say that it's abuse yet. Just a year of neglect. But we have to do something before it happens. I'm sorry for yelling at you before. I knew that wasn't Mion's opinion, but it felt like she was telling me that, and I raised my voice. When I sensed her dismay, I quickly apologized. I explained to my contact what happened to Satoko last year. But last year's case was resolved by waiting it out too. Last year's abuse only stopped because of the fourth curse, right? It's not like the Child Consultation Center resolved it. Still, either way, both last year and now, the Child Consultation Center doesn't think her case warrants that much urgency. It seems our opponent this time is that difference in urgency between us and them. I see. We've done what we can. Now we need to come up with a plan B. We should have a meeting tomorrow, with all the fearless members of our club. We've gone through worse than this before. We'll save her for sure. Yes. As we spoke, I felt less angry about the decision that the Child Consultation Center made. It was something we expected anyway. I was being emotional for a while, but Mion wasn't taking it personally. She's usually a tough person, but I know that she feels very weak when something like this happens. I have to be careful not to not get too emotional with her. Our enemy was Teppei. I couldn't yell at my friends just because I was frustrated. I almost forget sometimes, but Mion is a girl. There's no way yelling at her without a cause wouldn't hurt her. I think I have a tendency to lash out with my emotions sometimes. I definitely need to rein in that bad habit, especially during emergencies like this. All I could do by myself was probably the same thing Shion was suggesting earlier. But I knew it wouldn't make Satoko happy. We club members are fearless, but the power I possess is the smallest among all of us. That's why I need to communicate with them. If we're united, we would be able to come up with a better plan. I couldn't think of a plan all by myself. 3 heads are better than 1. We would definitely figure something out. I'm going to call Rika-chan right now. Will you call Rena? Sure. Rena was a good match for Shion today. She impressed me a lot. She's tough when push comes to shove. Yeah, Rena is always reliable when we're in trouble. But you impressed me too, Kei-chan. You were kind of cool today. I just kind of feel embarrassed now. That speech was a little corny, huh? I'm hanging up now. I'm sure Rena is waiting. Give her a call, okay? Yep. Say hi to Rika-chan. I think she's been hurt the most by all this. Rika-chan was looking at the ground with a depressed look on her face all day. My chest hurt just remembering it. It must be even more painful to look at Satoko. Mion hung up the phone. I also hung up, then called Rena. She picked up the phone after one ring, which surprised me. Hello, Rena? You were waiting for the call, huh? Yes. I called you, but it was busy, so I didn't know what to do. You called me when I was talking with Mion. She's calling Rika-chan right now. She told me to call you. Let me explain to you what happened. Okay, is the case on hold? Yeah, unfortunately. I'm really upset, but that's what we expected. I can guess what they said. It's only been a day, so there's nothing definite. She may have missed school because she really had a cold today. Plus, she doesn't have any obvious injuries. Is my guess right? Did you put a bug on my phone? Yeah, you got it exactly right. It's total bullshit. It's only been a day is such a horrible phrase, isn't it? Especially since it'll be too late after he really hurts her. If he really does, then Satoko's injuries will be plain for everyone to see. But if that happens, her uncle will never let any social workers see her. And then they'll just say they couldn't find any signs of abuse and go back to waiting again. It's such a huge contradiction, isn't it? Apparently they need court approval to force entry, but applying for that isn't easy. So while social workers may be supposed to have great legal power, in reality their hands are tied and they can't act if the family turns them away. They're not the police. They're not the ones who storm in, even if they have to break windows to do so. Damn it, then who does have the right to break those windows? If we did, I'd smash them wide open. Anyway, they're not serious about this case. They have no idea what will happen to Satoko if we don't do anything about it. I'm impressed. Wait, why? You just moved to the village not too long ago. You've only known her for just a few months. But you're so serious about saving her. You don't even know what happened to her last year. But you can imagine how hurt Satoko-chan is right now. If you were an ordinary person, I'm sure that you'd tell us. Just relax, it's only been a day. It's not that difficult to imagine how horrible it is for her. I also heard from you guys how terrible it was last year. It's no question that this case requires immediate attention. That's still impressive. You stopped Shi-chan when she tried to leave the classroom. What you said there was pretty deep. Do you think Satoko would appreciate it if you save her? It's not something an average boy would say. In fact, sorry, but I thought you were going to say something like what Shi-chan suggested. That's our Rena. She saw right through me to the core. To be honest, I was able to keep my calm because Shion caused that commotion. I too thought our only option was to kill him. What's there to hesitate about? Everything would be resolved if we went over and killed our uncle right away. I thought those same things myself. And then I thought about how I would actually kill him. First, I'd assault him with a metal bat or something. But before that, I would scope out his house and dig the hole to bury his body in ahead of time. When I imagined it, I envisioned myself actually digging the hole with a camping shovel in the woods. I repeated, "This is for Satoko, this is for Satoko," in my mind like a mantra, trying to forget the weight of the murder ahead. I relieved that exhaustion and frustration. I could very clearly imagine myself standing there, soaking with sweat and covered in mosquito bites. Then I'm sure I'd call our uncle or something to lure him out of the house and bludgeon him to death. Then I repeated my mantra, "This is for Satoko, this is for Satoko," blaming her for that serious crime as I tried to avoid my own guilt over committing murder. Did Satoko ask me to do that? Am I going to blame it all on her because I committed murder? Would she appreciate that? No, she wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to tell anyone that I had killed someone. No one would appreciate my deed, and I'd have to carry that burden for the rest of my life. That pathetic future is one I couldn't have imagined in the rush I felt before carrying out the murder. I decided to kill him so I could return us to happier times. But the act of murder also meant shattering the thin path that could lead us back there. I was able to imagine it that far ahead. That's why I didn't say it out loud like Shion did. If I hadn't thought that far, I probably would have joined Shion in shouting, "Kill him! Kill him!" Excuse me, sneeze. It would have been really hopeless if you had done that. I'm glad you have such a vivid imagination. I'm glad. Was that really just my imagination, though? Did I imagine killing her uncle in my mind? Could imagination alone really be that vivid? I could smell the earth, taste the scattered dirt flying into my mouth, see the pebbles scattered as I shoved my shovel down, and hear the roots cracking from its weight. The image was so real, it felt more like I had actually done it in the past. That's right. It's important to imagine the consequences. Right. You don't want to grow up with no imagination. I think you'll grow up to be a calm, reasonable adult, Keiichi-kun. I wonder if that was only my imagination. I feel like I've been through a different life before. People with good imaginations could take a look at every possibility. If you really felt like you saw the future, I think it wasn't just your imagination. You saw a possible future that could have happened. In that imaginary world, the Child Consultation Center put it on hold, too. Sato came back to the school for a while, but she broke after only a few days. Satsuko was bearing the abuse, but even something small would be enough to break her. Just like an old bowl that has a crack in it. One day that crack will eventually widen, and the bowl will shatter. In my imaginary world, Satsuko broke when I rubbed her head. She thought my hand was her uncle's hand. She pushed me away and hid behind the curtain and cried out for her brother, saying, "Nini! Nini!" Who told you that she called her brother Nini? Huh? I don't know. I guess someone did. That's what she calls Satoshi, right? Anyway, it was devastating to hear her cry like that. I wanted to comfort her, but I couldn't even get close. She cried more as I walked closer to her, because she thought I was her uncle. You're amazing, Keiichi-kun. I can't believe that was only your imagination. That's exactly how Satsuko-chan was last year. I remember it clearly, but it's impressive how you can imagine it, since you've only been here for a few months. You really are amazing. So that explains why you feel the same urgency we do. So you feel the same way I do? Yes. I can't imagine it as clearly as you have, but I think Satsuko-chan will break in a few days if we don't do anything about this. I think she will hide behind the curtain and scream for her Nini. That's when we'll finally realize something. It's not a crime to be powerless. It's a crime to do nothing. Huh? It's only in my imagination, but I'm crying as though it's happening right in front of me. Rena can also sense how urgently we need to save Satsuko. Not everybody feels that way, though. My friends all do, but they're special. And normal people like those at the Child Consultation Center see us as overreacting. They have a point, though. We don't really have anything to say back to them if they're going to claim it's only been one day. It's just like getting a cold. Doctors always say, let's see what happens for a couple of days. Rena, I think we should trust our instincts. We have no time to spare. We have to save Satsuko now. Yes. Even if I can't come up with a good idea on our own. Together we can accomplish anything. When I was down and depressed before, someone told me the same thing. I think now is the time to come together and show people what we can do. Yeah. I don't know who told you that, but that's exactly how I feel. It was strange. I've had this feeling ever since Rena told me this story at school. It felt like I, too, once learned a lesson after some event. But Rena and I only met recently. I guess it's just a coincidence. Anyway, I was so lonely inside of my imagination. I thought it was stupid for them to only sit and think about how they could save Satsuko, and I made a selfish decision. But I eventually learned, just like Rena did. You'll never come up with anything good by worrying about something on your own. You have to talk to your friends. That way, they will help you reach the best possible solution. You said something when you stood in Chi-chan's way today. You told her to trust you. You said you didn't have any idea yet, but that you would find one soon. I'm going to trust you. I believe that you will come up with the best solution. Don't just rely on me. You can give me ideas if you have any. Oh, that's not what I meant. I have faith in my friends at all times. I'm going to trust us. I know that we can save Satsuko-chan, but we're not going to use a shortcut. That's right. We'll save her from this mess. Keep on believing. I believe in us too. I'll never think that I'm the only one who's trying to save her. I believe that all of us feel the same way. Let's have a meeting tomorrow. Chie-sensei might have new information too. We may not be able to come up with a good idea right away, but she might have something. Yeah, you're right. I know that there's always another option. That's right. We're not going to give up. There is a better way. I'm sure there is. We may not find it right away, but we'll never give up. No, never. Mion praised her for it too, but Rena really is strong in a crisis. I got a little emotional when I was talking with Mion, but Rena is different. Her fire is quiet and blue, so at a first glance it seems lesser than my bright red roaring blaze, but the truth is the opposite. Blue flames burn far hotter. As I spoke with Rena, I felt my useless, wild energy calming down so I could rationally search for the best solution. Through that, I felt Rena's strength. Though, apparently, Rena felt similarly about me. When I'm talking with you, I feel like I can accomplish anything. You're so strong and reliable. I feel more courageous when I talk with you. I feel more confident that we can save Satogo-chan. I get calmness from you, and you get confidence from me. We balance each other out like that, huh? We're a good combination. Michan has a lot of power as a member of the Sonozaki family, but she has a very frail heart. But I believe that you and I can support her. That's right. We have nothing to be scared of. Yeah, I agree. Talking to Rena made me feel very confident. If I can share that confidence with my friends, I'll never feel down and miserable ever again. I'm going to give my power to the other club members, so we can fight even harder. Riki-chan is really depressed right now. She lost her will to fight. But I'm sure she'll get that will back when she sees us working hard. You're right. Once she gets her willpower back, nothing can stop us. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's talk about our plan and involve the principal too. We should get advice from as many people as we can. Let's find the best possible solution. That's the best thing we can do right now. Yeah. I got off the phone with Rena. That was a pretty passionate conversation we were having. It's unfortunate that the Child Consultation Center came to the conclusion that they did. But if they could still decide to wait and see, then that proved that Satoko was still safe for now. We are no more than children. Worrying about it too much won't cause us to come up with any good ideas. Murder isn't a real solution. But I had to admit, I thought about it once. It's easy to burn up in rage. However, I'd have to stay calm, like Rena. She was still burning up, but burning up very calmly, with a blue and quiet flame. I have never seen anything like that before. Keiichi, go take a bath already. Hurry up. I heard my mom speaking to me. You can go ahead of me, Mom. I needed more time to think about what to do with Satsuko. Everyone else was probably doing the same. You should go first. There's bath salt from real hot springs in there. It feels really good on your skin. I don't think there's bath salt in real hot springs. Milk tastes so good after a bath. My dad seemed to be in a good mood. He probably finished his work. He's as scary as a bear when he has artist's block. Maybe. Maybe my parents could help with an idea. They're the closest adults to me, after all. Should I talk to them? Stupid question. I had no reason not to. I'd have to talk to them and seek some advice. Dad, I have something I want to talk to you about. Huh? What's this? Is it about the auction at the coming festival? You have my full support. Speaking of which, when is the next festival committee meeting? They called me to participate too. I'll have to mark my calendar. Oh, it's not about that. My classmate is in trouble. As I talked about Satsuko, my mom joined us and listened as well. My dad is a strange artist, but my mom is a normal person with common sense. She might be able to help. I just got a call and found out that they put her case on hold. We're wondering what we should do now. They already called the Child Consultation Center, so you should let them take care of it. But she was being abused last year too, right? I don't know how bad it is, but I think it's wrong for him to force her to move out of her friend's place. He was neglecting her for a year after all. We can't just wait and see what happens just because the consultation center said to. We're her friends, so we want to be more aggressive about saving her. But we have no idea how we can do that. Keiichi, don't even think about attacking him. I'm not. I wouldn't talk to you guys if that was on my mind. That's true. I thought you might ask us how to commit a perfect crime. Hey, I would never ask my parents something like that, I think. Keiichi, you're right. There are many battles in this world, but it's always important that you follow the rules. People won't help you if you're going to break them, and they won't respect you either. You have to fight according to the rules. Are there even rules for battles? Well, anyway, do you have any ideas? My parents have been alive for more than twice as long as me. They must have had some experience with things like this. It's sort of a rare thing. They must have many good ideas. At least that's what I thought. But they crossed their arms and went silent. Calling a child consultation center is the first thing you should do. But what do you do if that doesn't work? Do you think we can even rely on the law? Do you think the police won't do anything until Satoko is seriously injured? I think you have to make an appeal. Appeal? What, you mean sue him? That's not it. The child consultation center is supposed to take care of the child abuse cases. But if you're unsatisfied with the decision they make an appeal to the court? Keiichi, you go to court when you can't resolve an issue with the person you're dealing with. It's the final place you go to. You want the child consultation center to protect Satoko-chan, right? But they made a decision that you disagree with. And? Now we have an idea. Are we going to school now? Probably, so I'll have a sip of water. We need to make an appeal to the Child Consultation Center. If we're unsatisfied with the decision they made, we can simply go and tell them that. We need to go there and explain to them how serious this case is. Yeah, that sounds good. They have no idea what situation Satoko-chan is in right now. Since they're misunderstanding what's going on, we have to go there and make it clear. I see. That's the best approach. I don't know about that. I've heard that they never change their decisions once made. It might be just a waste of time. We don't know that until we try. Giving up before even trying is what losers do. We have to try everything we can. Remember what the principal said? We'll fail if we give up before even trying. Shion, your fire is blazing bright red, ready to do whatever it takes, even if that's acting hasty to save Satoko. But truly hot fire is blue and calm. Don't give up. We should do everything we can. What do you think, Chie-sensei? Am I wrong? No. You're not saying anything wrong. You've calmed down a lot. I was concerned for you because I thought you might come up with an idea to attack him in the dark. That's what my mom was saying. Is that how people perceive me? I thought we should wait and see what happens. But after hearing everything all of you have said and thinking about what happened last year, I now understand that this is an emergency situation. People can change their minds if you're persuasive enough. The Child Consultation Center might change their mind too. They might reverse their decision if you succeed in making an appeal. What do you think, Shi-chan? You should fight with us rather than thinking about it all alone. I'm not feeling lonely. I'm not sad because I'm all alone. You do sound awfully sad, actually. Maybe you do want to join us. Whatever. Fine then. Let's just go to the Child Consultation Center. I'm going to punch them in their faces if they don't do something. That's not a good idea, but I feel your passion now. I guess you calmed down after getting some sleep. I'm just serious about this is all. Anyway, let's go and make it happen. I know where the Child Consultation Center is. This old man didn't know about until recently, but it's on the first floor of the library. Mion grinned and showed us the location on a city guidebook. She's really prepared for this. Alright, time to feed the cat. Be right back. Alright, the boy is fed. Just get my headphones. The office is open until 5:15. Don't try and pick a fight with them. We have to stay calm. What? Are you talking to me, sis? Who do you think I am? I'll cry if I have to. Our goal is to make them change their mind. That's it, Chi-chan. I think we can make it if we leave right now. It was past 3 o'clock. We'd make it before they close if we rushed there on our bikes. But they're strict about time, aren't they? They might kick us out as soon as it's time to close. The door will close on time, but once we're inside, they'll never kick us out. Listen, make sure you don't give in when negotiating with these officials. Officials are surprisingly tough, but unlike private citizens, they're not allowed to end the discussion on their own. So when you feel like you can't get anywhere by continuing the discussion, don't give in. You have to dig deep and make sure they listen to everything we have to say. How do you know all that, Michan? Who do you think I am? I represent Oreo Sonozaki, member of the mayor's social gathering, and the local government monitoring committee. I speak to government officials all the time. Hey Mion, is it possible to save her using the influence of the Sonozaki family? Well, not if I have to go through Granny. Ugh. It's impossible to get help from her. Her mind's still stuck in the dam conflict. 100 million with one spirit and stuff like that. She hates the Hojo family to this day. You're talking about Satsuko's parents, who were for the dam project? I've never met your grandma, but she needs to learn how to forgive. It's a thing of the past now. Exactly. I agree with you, Kei-chan. So the Sonozaki family can't do anything about it? Yeah, we can't. I'm sorry. Old people are so stubborn. They cherish Riku-chan, but they don't care about Satsuko. That's horrible. I can't forgive Satsuko's uncle for aggressively abusing her, but I'm not about to forgive other people for quietly abusing her either. Tell those people not to piss off Keiichi Maira. I'll do that. Shall we go now? We have no time to waste. Alright, we better hurry. Let's get going. I feel like my nose is stuffed. Do you want to come with us, Riku-chan? Let's go. Rena spoke to Riku-chan, who had been avoiding all conversation. She seemed to have given up all hope yesterday. It was so painful to see her so depressed. It's just a waste of time anyway. You have to stop saying anyway. You don't know if it's a waste of time or not unless we try. You people did everything you could in your previous lives, but you never found a way to save her. You think this time will be different? Sometimes I really had no idea what she was saying. All I could tell is that she was being negative about the situation. Have you tried going to the Child Consultation Center already? Then we should try. Satsuko-chan is important to you, isn't she? We have to try and see what happens. I'm sure Satsuko-chan needs your help right now. This world is going to end soon anyway. What's wrong? We have to hurry up. Riku-chan doesn't seem to be interested. So much for friends. She's so close to Satsuko, but she won't even get off her butt to save her. I never thought I'd hear you say something like that. You used to hate her so much. What? Is your brain working alright? Why would I hate Satsuko? Never mind. Fine, I'll come with you people. I have nothing to do at home but drink until I pass out anyway. You're pissing me off. Are you trying to make a fool out of me? Stop it, Chi-chan. You stop it too, Riku-chan. Let's get together and save Satsuko-chan. I'm sure we can make a miracle happen if we work together. But we need everyone to come together. We can't leave any one of us behind. We need you too, Riku-chan. Something that Rena said must have given Riku-chan motivation. I could see a slight sparkle in her eyes. Rena had said something interesting. She said that we could make a miracle happen. It's the same thing I said when this world began. At that time, I said I could make a miracle happen, but I didn't say how. But Rena just clearly stated that. We can make a miracle happen if we work together. Yes, miracles can happen when we work together. And what if there is no miracle? That means we haven't tried hard enough. If we all do the best we can, a miracle will happen for sure. That's true. Ryugu-san is right. People get stronger when they help each other. You can overcome any obstacle when everyone works together. Yep, Hinamizo was fated to be submerged underwater, but 2,000 people got together and brought an end to that destiny. Bring an end to destiny. As villagers of Hinamizo, we all know that miracles do happen. We'll win if we work hard together. I think you have no choice but to come with us now, Rika-chama. If you don't come, a miracle won't occur. Your absence will prevent it from happening. So, it's going to be my fault. That's interesting. A miracle is something that we can make happen, but we need everyone's power to make that come true. Destiny can be defeated. Fate can be escaped from. This can happen with a miracle. A miracle can happen if we unite. Rena told me yesterday, you'll never come up with a solution if you think about everything by yourself. We have to talk this out together. Don't let fate get the better of you. It's as fragile as a thin sheet of paper. How can you say that without knowing how stubborn fate can be? To me, a witch trapped within fate. But for some reason, his words sounded very persuasive. He easily changed my fate to play the fishing game. In my previous life, Keiichi saved Rena from her devastating fate. As fragile as the thin sheet of paper? He's saying that the world I've been struggling in for 100 years is that easy to change? Keiichi had made a fool out of me. Interesting. I'll go with you. That's more like you, Rika-chan. Oh, Rika, are you sure? Hanyu looked at me with concern. She wanted to warn me that I'll get hurt if I expect too much. I don't have any coins left to bet. I don't have anything to lose. This world is ending soon anyway. But it was the same in my previous life. I thought all was lost when Rena took over the school. But Keiichi turned everything around. He's saying that fate is as fragile as a thin sheet of paper. I've given up on this world anyway, but I'm interested. Fate will betray you anyway. I'll get hurt as I see it happen to you. Don't worry, I'm not going to get depressed anymore. I have no tears left to shed. I know that they can't save Satoko no matter what happens. That's why I'm doing this. It's the first time we've ever gone to the Child Consultation Center. Keiichi can't make any miracles happen. Hanyu spoke to me in a stern voice. Miracles are called miracles because they don't happen easily. If it can happen at any time, it's not a miracle. It's just something that was meant to be. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just interested. I'm curious how Keiichi is going to make his move after seeing how easily he can change fate. Rika, please don't hurt yourself anymore. That's none of your business. Get out of here. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just trying to enjoy my last week alive, like watching a TV show. But I had to admit I was possessed by a strange feeling. It was a little bit exhilarating. I was nervous, as if anticipating something. I had felt the same way when Keiichi remembered the memories from the past in my previous life. I didn't have any coins left to make a bet, but I knew what this feeling meant. If I had a coin left in my heart, I would bet everything on this feeling. If it doesn't work out after trying every option, we'll have no choice but to give up. There's no need for us to give up. Satoko is going to be saved. You had better prepare a clean blanket for her, Satoko. She's coming back to you soon. And I'd feel bad if she didn't have a soft bed waiting for her. I like that, Keiichi. Well then, let's go. You might tear apart fate like a thin sheet of paper after all. Yeah, right now I feel like I could take on the ruler of hell. I'm going to make them change their decision. I stood up from my seat. Keiichi's a very good speaker. That's why I never get bored with him. I've been with him for 100 years, but he still keeps me entertained. We're going to the Child Consultation Center now. Do you want to come with us, Chie-sensei? I'm going to talk to the Board of Education. They're under the same branch of government as the Child Consultation Center. It might help if I talk to them. After all, I'm working for the public too. That's true. They might listen to what you say. Let's have her take care of that while we take care of our business. Let's fight them. Alright, let's go everybody. Yeah! Even knowing that everything is doomed, part of me felt like something good might happen. I hate when my nose hurts like this. Hanya told me that it was only a waste of time. I felt the same way until a few minutes ago, but I had become much more interested. I had no idea what would happen. I wanted to see how Keiichi was planning to defeat this destiny. I raised my fist in the air along with them and hurried to the exit. As for Satoko, she didn't come to the school again today. Oh. Teppei called the school and told them that she still has a fever. He said that he's going to keep her home for a few days until she gets better. Chie said that she thinks Teppei knows she called the child consultation center. He must be worried that Satoko will rat him out if he lets her go to school. I don't want to think about it, but it's possible that Satoko has visible bruises by now. That could also be why he wouldn't let her go to school. Everything was happening much earlier. Satoko's situation was worsening earlier than it did in my previous lives. Sip some water to hopefully help my throat and nose. Now we ride to the city. Oh, we're already there. How long are they going to make us wait? Those people seem to be free. They should let us talk to them. Those are just general office workers. We have to talk to the actual social worker responsible for the case. I wonder if they are busy because they have a lot of cases like this. I don't know. I wish they didn't have so many issues to deal with. This world is tragic. So many kids are being abused. After 30 minutes, they finally called my name. I wrote down my name at the registration, as Mion can't let them know she's from the Sonozaki family. I'm Myra. My name was called. I went to the receptionist to find a uniformed older lady. She must be one of the office workers Mion mentioned. Was she really going to be the one dealing with us? Hello, Myra-san. I see you're here with 4 other friends. How can I help you today? The only thing I wrote on the registration was that I wanted to talk about Satoko Hojo. Well, we're here to talk about Satoko Hojo's case. Chie-sensei from the Hinamizawa branch school called and made a report yesterday. We would like to discuss the case. Are you her friends? Yes. We're her classmates. Would you please give me a general summary of what you would wish to discuss? I heard that you guys put a hold on it because you determined that there wasn't any abuse happening. So we've come here today in order to explain Satoko's situation in more detail. I see. Please wait a few more minutes. That was it from her, then. A real social worker should be coming here to talk with us. She was just asking us basic information. With that done, she was talking on the phone and explaining to someone why I just told her. What did she ask? She asked me why I was here. She told me to wait for a few more minutes. I hate waiting like this. Are those posters and advertisements you've been reading that interesting me? I see lots of flyers about abuse. I guess we came to the right place. Report the abuse before it escalates. Check out that slogan. Check it out. There's a bunch of posters with slogans like that in here. I guess that's what the Child Consultation Center is for. Is it any help if it's inside the building, though? Rika-chan was right. They should be posting them all over the city, not just inside the building. Maribara-sama, thank you for waiting. Please go to room number 2. It's our turn now. Let's go. As we walked, we soon saw rooms numbered 1 through 3. I thought we were going to be talking at the counter like you do at the bank. But they have individual rooms. I guess it's for privacy reasons. Most of the people who come here don't want other people listening to their conversation. But I think abuse might be increasing because people try to keep the issue quiet. People tend to not talk about their family issues. Room number 2. It's this one. As I knocked, I heard the voice of a lady telling me to come in. Hello? It was a very small room. Well, I should say it was narrow. It wasn't wide, but it was very long. There was a counter in the middle, which split the room into two. The lady was sitting on the other side of the counter. She told us to take a seat, but there were only 2 chairs. I sat down since we registered under my name. Mion wouldn't sit because she felt that the Sonozaki sisters shouldn't be in the front. Rena tried to offer the seat to Rika-chan, but she refused too, so Rena ended up taking it. It was such a tiny room that it was better for us to take a seat. It was very cramped with the 5 of us. I'm sorry, we usually expect to see the parents, so we only have 2 chairs. I understand that. So, how may I help you today? Should I do the talking? Well, we're students from the Hinamizawa branch school, and we're Satoko Hojo's friends. The school reported that she was being abused at the child consultation center. I believe that a social worker went to her house last night. We heard that you put a hold on her case. We're here today so we can explain to you how urgent the matter is. Mio nodded. It seemed like I was doing okay so far. What are you trying to explain to us? Will you please tell me? Well, I know it's only been 2 days since her uncle took her away, but it's only a matter of time before he starts hurting her. In fact, Satoko suffered terrible abuse at the hands of her uncle last year as well. We believe it's only a matter of time before that happens again. So we would like for you to save Satoko from her uncle before it does. But from what we understand, the Child Consultation Center has decided to wait and see, right? Are you going to neglect her? I can't believe that you left her there just because she's not getting physically abused. Who's going to be responsible when she really gets hurt? Shion probably didn't like how politely I was speaking to her. She was already flaring up with rage at the social worker. It looked like Mion didn't want her to tear into her. However, she let Shion finish, as she'd get even more furious if we tried to stop her. The lady seemed to be used to people losing their temper, and she continued without reacting to Shion's outburst. I would like to make it clear that we are still working on our case. The results are still pending. We are not abandoning or neglecting her. Working on her case. They're not abandoning her. They're currently reviewing options, I suppose? While their mature phrasing made me start to think it might be rude and harsh to say they were abandoning her, Rena quietly opened her mouth. But you left her there without doing anything last night. No one can ever fool Rena. Taking their time to review options was the exact same thing as abandoning her. The fact is, they left her in that house without taking any actions to prevent her from being abused. We sent a social worker to her house, and they met with her guardian. We cannot talk about the case any further for privacy reasons. However, we are not neglecting her. We are going to look after her and her father, so they can have a healthy life together. He's not her father. He's her uncle. Are you sure you really did an investigation? Excuse me. You're correct. They're uncle and niece. Anyway, we'll be directing them so guardian and child can form a healthy relationship. Shiona pounced on her mistake immediately. I didn't think she needed to be so snappy, but at this point I was starting to understand how different their sense of urgency was from ours. Well, excuse me, but Satoko was living a happy life before, without any support from her uncle. First of all, her uncle disappeared from her life for a full year prior, and now he's returned and kidnapped her away. Isn't that a crime? It wasn't a kidnapping. It's the law that a child must live where their guardian appoints them to live, except when they neglect her for a full year. According to Article 821 of the Constitution, the legal guardian of a child is... He neglected Satoko for 1 year. How can he still be considered her guardian? Shion, that's what the court decided when her parents died of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Are you serious? That guy is her legal guardian? Yes. I don't know the specific article of law it's written in, but minors must abide by their guardians. In other words, every child has a guardian. They have to have one. That's Article 818 of the Civil Code. When Satoko's parents died, her uncle and aunt automatically became her guardians? Yes, the closest relative gets custody. It seems her aunt and uncle were Satoko's only relatives. If Satoko and Sashi refused them, they could have had a different guardian, though. But they were the children of the Hojo family, the enemy in the damn conflict. No one was going to take care of them. They were different from Rika-chama. Lots of people wanted to be her guardian, but Father Kuniyoshi got custody of her. I knew that the Hojo family was in favor of the dam project, and the whole village hated her family for that reason. But I thought everything was over after they canceled the project and Satoru's parents died. Was I aware of the difference? The difference between how the villagers treated Satoru and how they treat Riko-chan? The villagers don't abuse Satoru like her uncle. But maybe there were small thorns left in the village, and they were stinging Satoru occasionally. I can't say this too openly, but Satoru's family had more assets than her uncle's. And by becoming her guardians, they gained control over those assets. That's why they shamelessly took over Satoru's home. Do you know where they used to live? It was this ridiculously tiny place. That's horrible. But this guardian neglected Satoru-chan for over a year, right? Can he still claim custody of her? Can he? Well, in Part 4, Chapter 4 of the Civil Code, there are provisions for the loss of custody. The lady opened a thick book on the counter and showed us that page. I didn't completely understand what it says on there, but it seemed that a parent can lose custody when they're being irresponsible. So, the law can take away the right to be someone's guardian. Wait a minute, it says something about court. Let me see. At the behest of the child's relatives or a public prosecutor, the family court may make a ruling for the loss of parental authority. What the heck is this? So we'd have to sit around and wait for a family court's ruling before he can lose custody? That's too slow. Well, if something urgent happens, we can temporarily protect her under our custody. We will also need approval of the family court in that case. Here, Article 834 for the loss of parental authority. Doesn't this apply to Teppei Hojo? It is a fact that the guardian, Teppei Hojo, abandoned his responsibilities as guardian for over a year. What is the center's opinion on that? I can't answer for privacy reasons, but the center requested an explanation on that matter as well. And you accepted his explanation, so you decided to wait and see? Like I've mentioned, we are currently working on this case. The safety of the child is our number one priority, and we'll make sure that she will have a healthy lifestyle in a safe environment. We weren't on the same page at all. They just weren't understanding the urgency. I've never met this Teppei guy. I only know about the situation based on what my friends told me about last year, and what Chie-sensei told us. But I still understood very well. I understood that something really bad was going to happen if we didn't take any action right now. She was being abused by her uncle and aunt last year, too. Are you sure that the same uncle can take care of her? You still have the records from last year, don't you? I can't discuss her past record with you for privacy reasons, but we are taking everything into consideration. She didn't come to school yesterday, and she didn't come today either. He called the school and told them that she has a cold, but don't you think it's a bit odd that she hasn't come to the school since he showed up? That's true, but then she really might be sick. I think we should keep our eyes on her and see what happens. We just know that Sachiko doesn't want to be with her uncle. Her uncle is forcing her to stay with him. Our social worker spoke with the child and made their decision after doing so. So that's it, isn't it? Are you not taking this case seriously because she made a false report long ago? I cannot talk about that for privacy reasons. We're taking everything into consideration. Sachiko is telling you that she's not being abused because she feels guilty about her brother, Satoshi. She may have told you that she's not being abused, but I don't believe that statement. Do you know that people can lose the will to seek help when they have depression? Stop making excuses and hurry up and save Satoko. I'm not going to forgive you people if something happens to her. You'll end up hurt if you don't do something about this while I'm still asking politely. Stop it, Shion. You're making us look bad. I don't know what her uncle said to the social worker, but he's a violent guy. Please don't be fooled by him. I just wanted to make that clear. So please, speak with her social worker and persuade them to make the call to save Satoko at once. We ask that you do this for us. Some of us were getting emotional, but Mion calmed them down, and Rena summed it up nicely. I stopped speaking to see what she was going to say next. You mean her caseworker? I understand your concerns. I will tell them that Satoko-san's friends, 3, 4, 5 of her friends came here and made an appeal to us. We will continue to work closely on this case, so please let us know when you have further information. Thank you for supporting the Child Consultation Center, and thank you very much for sharing your valuable time with us today. We were still in Okonomiya. We were in the city park, devoid of playing children, staring vacantly up at the madder red sky in silence. I feel like they didn't really listen to our story. But they also didn't try to kick us out. She's probably just a person who deals with complaints, not the actual social worker that deals with Satoko-chan. That's why she was phrasing everything the way she did. What did you think about the whole thing, Mion? Well, it felt like we were wrestling with a tree. We didn't get pushed or pulled. It was the same as talking to a wall. That's not true. She said they will forward our information to the social worker. Like I said, she doesn't know Satoko-chan in person, so she didn't really have any stake in it herself. So you think we accomplished something today, Rena? I don't think it was a waste of time. But I don't think our passion will be understood by the actual person who is working on the case. She'll just tell them that Satoko Hojo's 5 friends came and requested for them to take her under their custody. What about the social worker? Can't we talk to that person directly? I don't know. I heard it's a very tough job. I think it would be difficult for us to meet him or her in person. Someone even threatened to hurt them if they didn't do anything while she was still asking them politely. According to Mion, there are lots of problematic clients who show up at the Child Consultation Center. It's not a rare thing for them to get an aggressive visitor like Shion. It's so difficult to tell them how passionate we are. They might treat us coldly if they took our passion for simple anger. I thought you were used to talking with government officials, Mion. Can't you talk to them instead of me? It's not that she's good at talking. They just listen to her because she is Mion Sonozaki. You saw how they treated us today. If she announced herself as a Sonozaki, we wouldn't have been in such a small room. We would have been speaking to the manager in a reception room. Right? Mion gave a vague smile and didn't comment. Mion's greatest weapon is her family name. Without that weapon, she's just as ordinary as the rest of us. I shouldn't be thinking about this. But if the Sonozaki family forgave Satoko's family, it would be really easy for them to save her. So, the Sonozaki family still hates the Hojo family? No one has publicly stated that we hate them. But it runs pretty deep. That hag of a grandmother is the one who hates the Hojo family. Her opinion hasn't changed since we were in the middle of the dam conflict. It's been so many years, but she still can't let go of the past. Stop it, Shi-chan. Satoko-chan is Satoko-chan. She's our precious friend. It doesn't matter what her last name is. Shion went quiet, and there was silence for a while. Rena was right. Just like how Satoko's last name doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what Mion's last name is either. The important thing is that our friend is being abused, right now. We have to do everything we can to save her from that situation. We all looked up at the sky as we listened to the sound of cars passing by. We all felt hopeless. We had no idea what to do. Was what we did today going to help Satoko at all? It would have been better if they just kicked us out. That way, we could have been angry with them. But after being treated politely like that, we had no choice but to back off and see what they were going to do. We were forced to just wait and see what happens. Everyone was trying to figure out what our next option was. I couldn't expect Chie-sensei to tell us that everything was taken care of at the Board of Education. That would be too good to be true. What shall we do next? I muttered to myself, hoping that someone would respond with a good idea. But the silence reminded me that everyone was just as stuck as me. Keiichi. Rika-chan. I'm sorry. I was running my mouth off, but I have no idea what to do now. I don't believe this. What? As I looked at her, I realized that the expression on her face was stronger than ever. You told Shion yesterday. You didn't have a good idea at that moment. But you said you would figure out something. You told her to trust you. So I trusted you. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe that you would even mention that you had no idea. I'm not going to believe that. I could see tears in her eyes. Rika-chan was sure that I could do something about the situation. You said it. You said that fate is as fragile as a thin piece of paper. I'm going to believe your words. I still believe you. Because you can easily defeat fate. So, please help us escape from this fate. Help Satsuko. Help her. A tear rolled down from the corner of her eye. My heart was feeling the same way. Damn it. An innocent girl was becoming a prisoner of a tragic fate. She desperately needed help. I told them that they could trust me. In other words, that they could count on me. That they could bet on me. Betting is not an easy thing. If I lost, they'd lose their coins too. What does it mean to trust someone? It's about making a bet on that person. It's about betting a coin. It's about betting hope. Trusting someone is tantamount to placing your hopes in them. I told Shion yesterday. I told her to trust me. I didn't say it just because. I knew that those words meant something very serious. But now, after betraying Rika-chan and seeing her tears, I finally realized just how serious it is. I looked at Shion. She was in a rage again. Mion tried to calm her down, but she didn't have any ideas either. How about Rena? She's always very reliable in a situation like this. I expected to see her strength. However, Rena also looked depressed. We didn't even know if what we did was a meaningful thing. Rena looked down with a devastated expression on her face, since she couldn't come up with another option either. Damn it. I have to do something for them. Rena's blue fire will melt iron. Mion can be strong when the wind is in our favor. Shion is the same way. They will move forward strongly when the wind is backing them up, but they grow weak when the wind is blowing against them. Despite the whole situation, Rika-chan still believes in us. She believes that we can do something if we all come together. That's right, we all agreed. We said to each other that we could make a miracle happen if we all worked together. What am I? If Rena is the blue fire, I'm the red fire. I burn brightly and give strength to everyone. That's right, I'm Keiichi Maiba. I'm the magician of words. I have to motivate everyone. The blue fire won't light up unless the red fire does too. Sorry. When the fire is lit, there will be wind. Mion and Shion will become stronger too. Thank you. You just made me realize something, Rika-chan. Now the flames inside me are really starting to blaze. Keiichi, you can't give up now. We're members of the strongest club ever. Nothing can stop us when we get together. I can't become depressed over a small thing like this. Rika-chan woke me up. I just realized how serious it is to have people trust in me. Rika-chan knew our personalities well, and she figured out just who she should motivate first. Whoa, I'm really starting to burn up. Hey Mion, stop being depressed. This is where we're supposed to get angry, man. Everyone looked at me with wide eyes as they turned at my powerful voice. They were both surprised by my sudden shout, and waiting in anticipation at the vigor of my call. More and more clearly, I could see it. This was Keiichi Maiba's role in this club. I don't think we did anything at the Child Consultation Center. Just like Brian was saying, they're just going to forward a small note saying that the five of us made a visitation. But being treated like that has lit the fires of our anger. You're right. Feels like they gave us the cold shoulder. We were trying to get them to realize how much danger Satsuko is in. We have to fight now. We have no time to be sitting all depressed in the park. But Keiichi-kun, what are we supposed to do next? Don't tell me that you think we have no more options left. If this was a club activity, you guys would be losing right now. This is fun. I was feeling depressed too, but now I've got a burning passion in my heart. I felt like I was cheering myself up. Why was I being so sad? If I wanted to save Satsuko, I had no time to rest. This was like the final sections of the last round of a boxing match where we were at a disadvantage. If I stand here stupefied, I'll lose by indecision. So, the only option is to press the attack. Was I supposed to give up just because I couldn't knock out the opponent with one punch? No. If I couldn't take him out in one, I'd have to throw 2 or 3 punches. I'd have to try until I could finally knock him out. You're saying that we're going to go there tomorrow? Close, but not exactly. I have no idea what's on your mind. But it sounds very interesting. It isn't like our club to cry ourselves to sleep. We need to turn this headwind around. Yes, Mion is getting her willpower back too. That's right. I agree with Keiji-kun. I'm ashamed that I was so depressed. Let's fight. But what exactly are you trying to do? Remember, everyone, that lady really pissed us off today, but she also told us what our next option is. She never thought she was giving us a hint. She made a huge mistake. On top of that, that next option is something that I'm really good at. Why did they fade out Shion and Mion just for Rena? Oh! Well, that sounds like a good ending point soon. These achievements are pretty good. Fire burning deep within. Without the passion in our hearts, she'll never be saved. Number date year. Subject, Satoko Hojo. Visitor, Keiji Maiba and 4 other friends. They are requesting protection for Satoko Hojo-san to save her from being abused by her uncle. Already being dealt with? I'm cleaning our the refrigerator, so please remove your personal belongings by this evening. Oh, wow. And that's it, right? Yeah, so it's a little refrigerator note. Bankbook frustration, is that? Oh, it's him. Teppei suspected that Satoko was hiding more money somewhere. But in reality, she had none at all. Teppei had asked her how she survived until now, but she told him that she didn't have to use any money because she was living with her friend. Teppei had made some money off of illegal gambling. While he had some of that money saved up, he had no intention to use it on living expenses. However, there was no way Satoko didn't have the money. Teppei was convinced of that. Teppei's wife, Satoko's aunt, must have taken away the family bank book when Satoko's parents died in the accident. But her aunt also died last year, and Satsuki is gone too. That means Satoko should have hidden the bank book somewhere. However, no matter how much he threatened her, she told him that she didn't know anything about it. He continued to question Satoko, still believing that she was hiding it somewhere. He couldn't beat her, because her teacher in the child consultation center would suspect him. So he wouldn't beat her. Instead, he spoke to her in a loud and violent voice, and broke furniture in front of her. Threatening people like that is Teppei's forte. However, Satoko continued to claim that she had no clue about the bank book. She didn't seem to be lying. After destroying the whole living room, leaving Satoko frightened like a scared little animal, Teppei finally believed that Satoko had no idea where the bank book was. In that case, where could it be? Teppei had 2 ideas. One idea was that his wife hid it somewhere in secret. The other idea was that Satsuki took it after his wife's death and hid it somewhere else. Either way, he was certain that it was hidden somewhere in this house. He told Satoko to clean up the mess he made in the living room and started searching around the house. Teppei was starting to get bored with Satoko. He had heard that Satoko's parents had a lot of money saved up, but his wife had taken control of that money herself. Since his wife had been quite thrifty, he was sure that she left the bank book somewhere without using it. Once he got his hands on that money, he could move somewhere else entirely. Teppei was still acquainted with a few people from the gambling spot in Gogora. People who used to help out are still hanging around that area. They still owe him. They should at least let him crash there. It was great that Satoko takes care of all the chores around the house, but Teppei felt uncomfortable about being watched by both the school and the consultation center. Teppei, all too aware that he's a man of violence, couldn't stand living with Satoko without being violent towards her. The more he suffered, the stronger his urge to beat up Satoko grew. Since Teppei only knew joy through forcing others who resisted to submit, Testing to see how violent he could be before the helpless Satsuko resisted him was something he was excited to try eventually. Still upset over the visitation by the school teacher, Teppei promised himself that he would destroy Satsuko's life before leaving the village. Alright, let's get to the next chapter and save and quit for the night. Well, day. Wait, I'm suddenly dropping frames. Oh, there it goes. Oh well. Sorry for interrupting your lunchtime. Can I have your attention, please? Stop there. Just so it doesn't do the weird sentence there. Alright. So, the next stream will be Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. EST. It'll be more of 6 Shards of Darkness, which I should finish Thursday. Now I'll be playing some horrors for the rest of October, pretty much. Have a good rest of your morning, day, or evening. Bye-bye.